All right, welcome back to the show. And today we have the guest Daniel Hershberger. Daniel is says data and AI leader, author, and founder at Express Apps Insider, as well as the president at Bitcoin is Better nonprofit. For the Bitcoin listeners, as a stamp at moment in time, we're at block height 944,363. So this is April 9th, 2026. And that's important as a disclaimer when we talk about technology. Things move so fast. So you say, well, when was this episode? And so it's Thursday, April 9th, 2026, and the Bitcoin block height as a time chain kind of stamp of where we are in the 10-minute blocks, 944,363. Daniel, welcome to the show. And for today's episode, we're going to save the Bitcoin story, unless it overlaps and makes sense, but we're going to save your Bitcoin journey for another episode. But today, for the listeners, the idea is reaching out and helping small, medium-sized business owners, and specifically what you're doing with your AI app agencies and applications. And again, the context of what I thought was really interesting is small, medium-sized businesses tend not to have the budget that a large enterprise has for a full-time chief AI expert, these gurus. So they really need like fractional support as well as partnerships with agencies or, partners that can do applications and solve problems without having to become a full-time hire expense. And so I see that value, you're living that value, and what your portfolio, your company, your customers, I think there's a lot of stories there. But today, for a nice warm intro and like maybe of a short episode, feel free to share any one customer case study. You can share your screen a little bit. Love to see, who's your favorite customer, what's like the value you've been providing, and any story that you could share with the world. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me, Jeff. I love your heart behind this podcast. We had the chance to speak about this episode, I think last week, and what really stood out to me is you mentioned there's so many deep rabbit holes that you can go down with AI, with Bitcoin, with all of this new technology. But just bringing it up to the first stage of how can I use this tomorrow to get the productivity gains, to get the benefits, and continue to grow by doing. So yeah, I'm excited to be on a podcast speaking about something other than Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is how we met, and that's what brought us together. But we know proof of work is a big deal in Bitcoin, and you and I both have hobbies and things that we do outside of Bitcoin too. But I think that there's a lot of synergy between AI and Bitcoin. I think both are going to change the world in their own way and are changing the world in their own way. Right now, people are touching and using AI more and seeing their competitors get ahead with AI, and there's almost that fear of being left behind. So I would say that's why AI is probably in the headlines more than Bitcoin at the moment. I think one day Bitcoin will have its day, but today that it's AI, people are trying to make sure that they stay ahead of this AI wave and use it to benefit their businesses. Because especially as a CEO, you don't want to have that feeling each night of, am I doing enough to keep my employees trained up on AI so that they can do their jobs to their full potential? Is my competitor doing something that I'm not? Like, you want to lay your head down at night each night as a CEO and know that you're doing your best to keep your company competitive and ultimately best serve your customers. So yeah, I'm excited to open up the secret sauce today and kind of share the direction that we've gone with Express Apps, and also a new venture called AI Card Institute as well. And yeah, we'll table the Bitcoin conversation for a future episode, but excited to talk about AI today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate how you speak in plain English, right? So there's all these experts and gurus, and the key point is that it's accessible. So when you help people, that you don't use mystifying language. It's, what is your business? Can this increase productivity? And like, is there value here? And we'll take care of the technology, but also like what I really appreciate about you and respect is you don't confuse people the way you speak about it. And so I'm sure that shines through with your customer relationships.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a West Virginia upbringing, so I mean, that's the way we speak in everyday, working class language. At least myself and my family, and that's just the way I understand. I feel like when you can explain it to a child, when you can speak in layman's terms about something, that's when you truly like mastered it. And with AI, I mean, no one has mastered AI. And Bitcoin's the same way. You can go down so many different rabbit holes. So there's no real mastery of it. It's just a continual learning process. And hopefully today, after today's episode, some of the listeners will be inspired to begin learning about AI and experimenting and using it in their business. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the tone or the view of the show is plain speaking, accessible, and being a bridge builder. Like
Hmm.
people go down these, we're in these circles of experts, whether it's AI, Bitcoin, both. And the question is, well, what about the 30 plus million small, medium sized businesses? What about people that are not in the group chats or on Twitter X or, like like they don't know the jargon, right? So,
Mhm.
you and I can talk about, hey, do we like Chat GPT? Do we like Claude? Do we like Gemini? Do we like Grok? That's very nuanced. And now we're getting into products and there's all this stuff. But when you go talk to a decision maker, a business owner, they say, well, I have a business problem. Cut the jargon. Will this help in efficient? Will it increase sales? Reduce term. Do I have to hire a new person? And
Mhm.
what's really interesting is you don't have to hire a new full time person. You have an existing team that are great people. Can you augment or support them, but increase productivity or lower costs or increase sales? And that's where AI gets interesting. That's like, and if we can bridge that gap and be a communicator and like take the tech world and bridge it to just whatever Main Street or I don't know, I don't want to categorize, but just industry agnostic, just really. And the SMB is such a broad brush. It's small, medium sized businesses. It's basically anything but like, other than a enterprise publicly traded company, right? So it's 30 plus million businesses in the U.S. alone, and so yeah, would love to hear any stories. And this doesn't have to be a long episode. I hope it's one of perhaps maybe a weekly episode, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be great.
and then people can reach you too, of course, afterwards. Again, we'll put all the contact details in the show notes, and there'll be a promo code if you name drop me, Jeff, help you out there. But yeah, please feel free to share your screen and tell any customer stories. And this is both a video episode as well as audio, so we appreciate that if folks are just listening, we'll be aware of that. But we'll put links and follow ups, and if you want a live demo, call Daniel. That's it's kind of that's also the point. So we're putting that out there.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Reach out. And if you set up a meeting with me, just mention Jeff and yeah, we'll give you a 10% discount. So yeah, if you feel called to take action after this, there's a few different ways to take action. If one of them is to reach out to me, then happy to meet with you and learn more about your business and see where AI could help improve productivity. And like you mentioned, Jeff, like I view AI as leveling the playing field. And I used to work for a Fortune 100 company. I built databases, I built reporting systems um, for this company, also the major banks as well. And I became a full-time entrepreneur in 2018. And I've seen how much these companies spend for their tools. And what used to take months and multiple teams coming together in a corporate environment, now your, small business, medium-sized business can build an equivalent for, 90% less, and I just think that that's a level playing field to bring the tools the enterprise is building to small and medium sized businesses so that they can compete and they can thrive. So I'm really excited about technology leveling the playing field. And I think that that's something that um, is easy to get excited about. And hopefully today's episode will give people some good next steps of
But
where it's
I'll throw some jargon out just to have some fun. So
yeah.
everyone's heard of vibe coding. I would put vibe coding as do it yourself.
Hmm.
That's the amateur hacking. You know, but it's not enterprise ready. There's probably security holes. And in consulting, at least, there's do it yourself, there's do it with me, and then there's do it for me, right? There's always like three classes of service. Like, would you say, because again, the jargon, the buzzword, vibe coding, would you put the vibe coding in a do it yourself, but oh, that's, it's going to be problematic, be careful there. And then how would you rate, would you say that your services are do it with me, do it for me? Or you kind of, that's the quadrants you live in. Would that be fair?
Yeah, so for me, vibe coding really came to the surface as a common word in our lexicon probably about 2 years ago, as people were just like, I've got a vibe to build this, and I'm just gonna, talk to the AI and eventually get something that's secure and, maybe secure. And I don't know, there were a lot of mistakes made too. A lot of people, publishing their private keys to certain APIs and like, yeah, so I almost see that as like we're transitioning from how we do work. So basically, most people are familiar with ChatGPT, so they typically use it as an advanced Google search. And ChatGPT is just, I have a question, give me the answer. Um, but what's cool is like there are companies out there that are building infrastructure where, yeah, you can chat back and forth, you can give the AI feedback, but the infrastructure below it is built correctly. It's secure. It's ready for production. So I think that just giving your employees a ChatGPT subscription and thinking that you're staying ahead on AI is a huge mistake, and it makes a lot of CEOs feel comfortable. Like, oh yeah, I've got my employees over here with their ChatGPT subscription, and but really it can do so much more. Like, there's a different mindset that you need to take when approaching AI in your business. You need to think about your work differently. So yeah, I would say my work has transitioned. So I started with Sheet Signal. The idea behind Sheet Signal was I'm a Microsoft certified Excel expert. So I come in and you've got all these spreadsheets. I'm going to build some VBA, some app script. I'm going to automate some things, build some fancy formulas, and make your spreadsheet experience better. So I did that probably for about 6 months, and then I had a client ask me if I could build them a custom web app. I was like, I'm happy to do it. I think I can. I did programming like before the Excel stuff, so I was certified in Python by IBM in 2019, but I never really liked programming. I was never the guy to sit in front of a screen and like just you know punch out code for 12 hours a day. I just didn't like that. But that was eye-opening to me because I built this custom web app for a client instead of my fancy automated spreadsheets, and it was like eye-opening. It was like I can't recommend spreadsheets anymore. Like I can build this calculation engine behind a web app and connect all these AI tools and make everything like such a seamless experience. So I sunsetted Sheet Signal, and that's when I started Express Apps Agency. And the idea with Express Apps Agency is we help people escape spreadsheets. And the primary focus has been on financial analysis. So that's one of our flagship offerings is that industry. Also, we've done project management software for large marketing agencies. But yeah, happy to share some client stories or realizations that have come to fruition in the last year or so, working with small, medium-sized businesses, because ultimately that's transitioned even recently in the last few weeks, just based on client feedback of how can I best serve my clients, and that's always changing. So I'm really excited about
Yeah,
where we're heading.
I love that. And I've been to your website, and the drop down, you have all these different, I think each one's a different conversation, different podcast. These are different, like, and it's not to say that you're covering too much. It really is. There's a lot of, you know, departments or, business value propositions that you've covered. And you said financial analysis. And of course, my mind goes back to like, could you analyze what would a business be on a Bitcoin standard? Could you,
Mhm.
like, there's choices here. Again, maybe Bitcoin's your phase two, and you start with some help with AI. That's how we're thinking. You'll get there eventually. Um, but yeah, these are great tools, and I would say for this episode, let's keep it high level intro, and we'll save the deep dive. But you had mentioned a rate. Was it like as an audit? You mentioned this other initiative you have, and I want to hear about that too.
Yes. So I'll go ahead and pull up my screen
Mhm.
and then share the story as I'm pulling that up. Let's see. Okay. And are you able to see my screen?
Looks good. How AI ready is your workforce? Yes, looks great.
Yeah, that's the big question. So something I noticed with one of my clients, we built this self-storage acquisition financial analysis tool for him, and each like demo, each iteration, I just got like a wow, how did you do that? Whoa, that's amazing. Like we've been trying to solve this problem for 25 years. Like how did you do this? And my background, I mean, I'm not a CFO, but something that was eye-opening to him when I shared, I said, I've got this custom AI project that I built that is a CFO that specializes in your industry, and I fed it all this training material so it knows like the right way to build things, the right type of metrics. So it's like even though I'm not a CFO specialized in your industry, I know how to train an AI to be that voice of reason and that voice of inspiration that then I take to you and we refine it and we polish it up so it's 100% accurate. But that was a huge starting point. But basically, I built out this web app for this client, and it analyzes self storage facility acquisitions and developments. And he basically got 3 or 4 different vendors to give him projections. They're all in Excel files, 10 to 20 tabs each. And they all speak a little bit different of a language in how they project, the cash flow of this potential property. So his team used to manually put that together, and it would take, anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks to put that together and to have like one cohesive projection that they trusted for this acquisition target. So this web app that we were able to build for them, it cut that down from 3 to 4 weeks to like 2 to 3 days, and they even have a quick analysis just in like 20 or 30 minutes as well. And they just drop their Excel files in, and the AI extracts the information and puts it in the same language. They can upload their PDFs, so they would get OM operating memorandums from brokers, and they would put that into the AI. It extracts all of the property information, the brokers projections, which are always a little bit optimistic, so they take them with a grain of salt. But it basically builds out this deal analysis and saves them so much time. So at each demo, he was like, wow, this is so cool. And then I noticed that he started building apps on his own. So he would like reverse engineer how I was building things. And this is a CEO who specializes in real estate. Like he's a genius when it comes to the financial engineering behind real estate. And I'd say he's like moderately technical, but he wouldn't consider himself like a super technical person. But he started like building these different apps, and then he's reaching out to me and he's like, hey, what do you think about this? And what do we need to do to get this across the finish line? I was like, wow, there's something here that I'm missing in the market. And I think like I never wanted to become a dev shop. And I really get excited when people like take the initiative to build on their own. And I think the new direction of Express Apps Agency is, yeah, we'll build it for you. We'll build the systems, we'll maintain them. But what's even cooler is we can measure the AI readiness of your workforce. We can identify those AI champions in your workforce, and we can train them one-on-one training or team training based on their measurements, so where they're strong and then where there's gaps. And we can basically like level up the productivity of your workforce and give them the tools that they need to build AI tools, AI agents, web apps, whatever it is in their daily workflow, just helping them to think differently so that they can take on these projects, these little puzzles themselves, and adds so much productivity and then also ownership of their work within their day-to-day workflow. So I'm super excited about this. We It's basically it's a 30-minute test that's given to your team, and the team takes the test. They're given a score. So I can show some examples here. We test in 3 different categories: AI thinking and aptitude, prompt engineering, and conceptual knowledge. And as a CEO, you're given your company's scorecard, basically, your company's report card on how AI ready are you as an organization? Where's your starting point? And I think that is huge, because then you identify like the gaps, and we can customize training and support to help as much as is needed. But I think that that's going to be the future of AI, is like how do you empower your your day-to-day workflow with everyone in your company who could benefit? How can they start to think about AI differently, and embrace those productivity gains that are possible, and really can improve your business and set it up for the long term.
This is great. Yeah, and for those that are just listening, we'll put the URL in the show notes. What we're seeing here is an AI card with an overall score 72 out of 100, and it's a certificate. And yeah, it's, I mean, quantifying where you stand on this, right? It's digital transformation is more than a trend. AI is more than a buzzword. And the question really is, yeah, where do you stand and how can we help? And I appreciate that you go to the Express Apps website, and there's drop down and there's projects you've done before. But maybe the customer, or the future partner doesn't know where they stand, and it's not clear to them that, oh, you've done this before, I need that too. So that's why this audit is huge. I think it's a great way to meet Daniel, and also like start the process to be like, hey, analyze my business, my company, and what is the right starting point here? Because you might identify many things. So, a question for you, Daniel: do you break things out in phases where you could kind of do an audit, health check holistically, and then say, wait, well, what's your first project? Save the rest for phase 2, 3, right? So,
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this is fully custom. It's dependent on the client and where they're at in their AI journey. So we come in, and step 1 is measurement. So after measurement happens, the CEO receives a company report, and then also a strategy document. So based on your industry, based on your test results, here are the top 5 things that we recommend out the gate. So that's without knowing too much about the business. So it's just based on your industry. This is what competitors are doing. This is a good place to start. These are your AI champions in your workforce. From there, the CEO can take it, and like you said, DIY, you can take it, you can vibe code, you can go out, and there's online training programs galore. So you can take that and do it yourself. We can also help with targeted training. So we have certified trainers who can come in and lead team trainings or one-on-one training with the identified AI champions, or if there are people that have critical gaps and you want to bring those people up to proficiency, we can do that as well. So that's the second option, is targeted training. And then also we can do full support, where we build and manage the systems. And that's similar to what we're currently doing with Express Apps Agency, where we come in and we build the same systems that we use in our business, and we manage those systems month in and month out. But yeah, the targeted training is what I'm really excited about, especially, like I said, my existing client, he's going to be taking this test next week for his employees, and he's really excited about getting them trained up to be able to be AI champions in their own way within their own workflow. And I just really see that as like the best way to scale, because I can serve like as a fractional AI officer, where, okay, if your employees get stuck, yeah, I'll jump in for a couple hours. I'll help them get unstuck. But let's make sure that they're growing week after week after week and getting better and better. So I see that as where I'm like transforming my role from being, full support where I build and manage, to being the guy who helps you get unstuck or the guy who helps you to see, the potential of what's possible with AI and what's not possible as well, because both are really important questions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had a question about, so when we say SMB, small, medium sized business, it's what a range, right? Small could be a solo, one or two person thing. What is medium? Is medium 10 W-2 employees up to 50, 150? Is a medium-sized business anything that's just not an enterprise? And is that a publicly traded enterprise, or is it 200 employees up? So my question for you, Daniel, is, because the term is very loose, small, medium-sized business, it's a pretty big range. Is there like a customer profile where you say your best customers or the best match supporting teams is companies with 2 to 5 employees, 10 to 100? Is there like a pattern you see where that's the best way to service that team?
Yes, I mean, I would say for the assessment, we've made it very affordable, $49 per employee to take the test, to get the results, and then also the strategy document. I would say, as far as like bringing us on full time as trainers or even implementing the tools and managing them, uh, I'd say the $5 million to $20 million per year range is the sweet spot to really show ROI for that type of investment. Um, because I mean, just think about, I mean, if you're doing 20 million per year and you can boost the productivity of your workforce by 10% with AI, I mean, that's $2 million. So it's easy to justify, a fractional AI officer coming in and helping people make sure that they're getting results from AI. Whereas, if you're a solopreneur doing, a couple 100,000 per year, and you're trying to justify that ROI, unless you're trying to scale up really quickly, that's going to be more difficult to do. But I'd say that, yeah, the sweet spot is like we've made the measurement accessible to anyone, and the strategy document, accessible to any type of business. But I would say for training and then the system management, that's probably going to be in the $5 to $20 million range is the sweet spot.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds good. And I'm sure you'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Promo code Jeff, Jeff, 10% off. And I think this is a great first episode. So one, I want to thank you for your time, Daniel. Two, I want to welcome you back as soon as next week. Maybe make like a cadence of this where we could go deeper into customer case studies and stories. But the AICardInstitute.org, I will put all the links in the show notes. And I think, yeah, this is the best way to find us is to fill out these forms, to apply, to request an assessment, to ask for a demo. And with that, is there, other than, and I'll put your LinkedIn as well in the show notes, is there an email or any other channel that's easy to reach you or that you want to put out there? Or would this still be the best way, is go ahead and click on this website?
Yeah, I would recommend taking the free AI quick score on our website. So that's AICardInstitute.org. So it takes 2 minutes. It's like 5 questions. It gives you a feel for what the exam is actually like when your employees will take it. And all we ask for is an email to see the results. So it's a low barrier there, and we don't have any type of sequences or marketing or anything that's going to bug you. So yeah, it'll just be a quick follow up with probably me or someone on our team, just asking if you have any more questions. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. Do the quick score to see where you are at currently with your business, and then yeah, it's just a 15-minute call with me to answer any questions you may have about the assessment and the strategy document. And like you said, I'm happy to meet with anyone, small, medium, or large. So yeah, feel free to reach out through the website or at support@aicardinstitute.org.
Beautiful. All right. Yeah. And I really like that there's a 2 minute low barrier, just, get a taste for it. Anyone can do that. So wonderful. Daniel, thank you for sharing all this. Thanks for sharing your screen, showing your work. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, the concept of fractional AI officer, right? So that's it. It's who is an expert, who's accessible, who's friendly, who can help me, um, but also level set, in plain English. This is where your team stands. This is the value. This is how we can help you, empowering the team to do the work, but also, a support layer if they get stuck. I mean, this all sounds good to me, makes a lot of sense. So, all right, well, we'll end this episode here and we will see you next time. And thanks everyone for your time. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Jeff.